Hey everyone, welcome. As always, we're going to start about 3 minutes after 12. So if there's any last minute things that you need to take care of, go ahead and do so, and we'll start around 12:03.
Hey Elsa, it's Tanya. I just want to make sure you can hear me. We were having some computer problems over here on my end. That's all I wanted to know.
It's perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the October Arch General Meeting. Thank you for joining us. It's finally getting cooler. I appreciate your finding time to make this meeting, to find the capacity, to find the bandwidth. Um, or if you're watching this recording, that you went and you found this in order to catch up. A couple of housekeeping reminders. A reminder to keep yourself muted when you aren't speaking. I try to do my best to do that for you, but I may miss that as you enter. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, drop your name and, if applicable, your organization or company affiliation in the chat. Um, we're going to have time for Q&A and open conversation during today's content. That's an opportunity for you to take yourself off mute, please, or drop any questions that you might have in the chat. And a reminder that this is being recorded so that it can be accessible for everyone, and you can always find it on the Arch YouTube page later if someone said something and you want to go back and find out what they said, or you didn't have a chance to jot something down. Um, a special note, we don't admit AI companions into meetings. We do record meetings, and as a matter of course, we do like to have the opportunity to redact if necessary to protect confidentiality or any other matters that prove needing redaction. So today we are going to start with federal and state updates and then move to more local updates from Arch and from any other agencies and or attendees. And then we'll welcome our esteemed guests for a special presentation. Unfortunately, there is not much to announce by way of federal updates as we are in the fourth week of a government shutdown. We are working diligently, reaching out to Congress repeatedly, asking for a provision that would award all eligible renewals with fiscal year 2025 COC program funds. So we're asking at this point, because it's so late in the year, that they consider a provision that would allow us to just renew the same programs that we had in fiscal year 2024 to be renewed for 2025. And then again for 26. And without this provision, we will have to go through a NOFO process when the government reopens, which will delay funds for months past our usual cycles, which could result in interruption in services for some of our programs, which I know that none of us can imagine or be able to withstand. Governor Landry announced yesterday that all SNAP welfare card holders will receive no new benefits on their cards starting November 1 due to the federal government shutdown. Any remaining benefits from previous months can still be used, and updated information will be available to all Louisiana residents through a new site. And I am copying and pasting that right now for you. The Louisiana Department of Health, which oversees the SNAP program in Louisiana, will begin notifying recipients this week based on whatever available information is there, and letting them know essentially that November benefits will not be added to their cards until the federal government reopens. At a state level, advocacy groups are meeting to create suggested legislation to be introduced when the state legislative season begins. If you're interested in doing any advocacy work at either the state or federal levels outside of responding when I send out a e-blast or the things that we talk about here in this meeting, if you would like to become more involved, please reach out to me at elsa@archacadiana.org, and I will connect you with the groups that are appropriate. Locally, our next groundwork meeting is on November 17th. We were inundated with emails, texts, spreadsheets, requests for meetings, etc. after our first meeting, which was in September. And so we have chosen to move it to every other month so that we can fully digest here internally and integrate the information that we gather from each meeting before our next meeting, since our overarching goal is to be able to have a fully developed resource map. I apologize for the clunky messaging last week around that. I was moving quickly. I could have done better. I do take your trust in being on our mailing list really seriously, and I don't want to abuse it with redundant emails, but I had real fears around people showing up for a meeting that wasn't happening. So again, we're moving that to bi-monthly, so we'll have one on November 17th, then again in January, March, etc. Also, if you are responsible for your nonprofit organization's giving, please note that GoFundMe recently created 1.4 million donation pages for nonprofit organizations without their consent. They data mined from a partner organization, PayPal, and they used that information to create pages that look like we created them. So they look like they belong to the nonprofit organization, but we did not set them up. So if someone donates through that platform, the default tip is 16.5% for GoFundMe. The funds flow through PayPal, and these pages may actually outrank uh, the nonprofit's own websites in internet searches. You may not even know that that money is sitting in account. Of course, it's problematic in developing donor relationships, and smaller NPOs in particular are at risk. So if you're responsible for your nonprofit organization's giving and you would like to disable your page, it's more of an opt out rather than opt in, obviously. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. You go and you'll click the tab that says nonprofits and then search your name. Once you find your page, you'll scroll down to the bottom. There'll be a place where you claim page. You'll have to go through a verification process that's pretty quick. It was overnight for me. And then you can remove the donation function and adjust the discovery settings so that it can't be searchable, which I did this morning. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that they might want to go ahead and be proactive there. Or you can keep it and flesh it out if that is helpful to you, that platform is helpful to you, but just wanted to give you back your control over your giving. This is the last general meeting of the year. The fourth Thursday of the month, next month, is Thanksgiving. We will be holding, and I have not yet shared because there's a lot that we're trying to push out. And so I'm trying to be thoughtful about how that rolls out. But we will be holding our State of Homelessness event, which also serves as our annual meeting on December 3rd. Registration will be forthcoming. Also, please include, if you're jotting down dates, December 21st, Homeless Persons Memorial Day Vigil on your calendar. It is a beautiful, intimate event, and important that we take a moment and acknowledge those that we've lost to homelessness this year. So if you're planning out the next several months, please go ahead and put those dates on your calendar, and the registration for the State of Homelessness event will be forthcoming. ShareHouse is maintaining equilibrium, so pretty excited about that. However, if you could help direct donations to ShareHouse, we would really appreciate it. We could get depleted very quickly. So far, it seems like things are coming in as quickly as they're going out. But again, it would only take just a couple of households that needed everything top to bottom that would deplete our inventory pretty quickly. Next, the Holdfast Renter Readiness Program will hold its monthly class today at 1:30 and then again at 5:30 p.m. We're holding 2 classes a day so that it works with people's schedules as much as possible. If they work during the day, they can come in the evening or vice versa. It is free and open to anyone who needs a class in a general intro to renting. It covers tenant responsibilities. It covers tenant rights. The next one is November 20th, which is also at 1:30 and at 5:30 p.m. And anyone can register here. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. We will be holding this monthly, twice a day. And for the foreseeable future, we're really looking forward to meeting people, finding out their experiences. Again, this is for people who it may have been a minute since they've rented, maybe they've never rented before, or maybe they just need a refresher. And then lastly, from an Arch perspective, Baker registration is now open and general tickets are on sale for our second annual Bake Me Home event on November 14th from 5 to 8 at Vermilionville. It's a bake-off. It's a family fair. There are dozens of adult and junior home bakers. It gives them an opportunity to showcase their items. There's 4 categories. And the first, second, and third place will be awarded by by 2 panels of judges. And then there's a special People's Choice Award that will be chosen by attendees. There's games, there's food, drink, music, face painting. And then, of course, bakers also sell their baked goods. So it's a great opportunity to support our work while stocking up on the holidays when you might not feel like cooking. You can freeze these items and defrost them and take them and say that you made them yourself. if you're interested, please visit archacadiana.org, Bake Me Home. Or if you are a home baker, then you go to archacadiana.org / Bake Me Home Bakers. And I'm going to drop both of those in the chat right now. It's super fun. You get to try all of the different items. It's just a really nice, casual, fun event at a time of year where the stakes are pretty high at other events. So now I'm going to open it up before we hand it over to our presenters. And I'm going to offer it up to anybody, any agencies or anyone else who has something, an event to perhaps announce, if they're starting any programs or hosting any events, if there's any training opportunities, or you have any staffing opportunities, or maybe you just have a question that you'd like to throw out to the group. So you can just go ahead and take yourself off mute. I'm having a delay with my slides, which might be, there you go. So go ahead and take yourself off mute if you have any announcements.
Hi, I'll go first.
Hey, Rebecca.
I'm Rebecca, Director of Housing with Faith House. First, I just want to thank everybody who made our 2 fundraisers. We just finished. We did last month our trivia night in Marksville, and then last week we did our Night of Hope at the warehouse, and both were very successful events. So I thank anybody that attended or that helped to make these nights possible. They were very great nights for Faith House. So we're very excited about that. I met with an architect a little earlier today about the kennels that we're going to be building here at the shelter. So really excited about starting this project. We have outdoor kennels right now that we offer for survivors that are fleeing with pets, but these will be climate controlled and a very nice place to have your animal with you while you're fleeing for safety and working on housing. So we're very excited about that as well. And our housing program, our transitional housing and rapid rehousing DV bonus project is off to a great start. If you have anybody that is looking for housing and is actively fleeing domestic violence, please refer them to Faith House and we'll see if there's something we can do to get them housed. But we're just really excited about all the projects we have in store. We've done most of our hiring. I'll be hiring our mobile advocate today that we've been interviewing for. And we're just looking forward to training staff and having a full staff again. So thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Are there any other announcements? You can go ahead and take yourself off mute. I may not see if you've raised your hand. You just want to be aggressive, take yourself off mute.
Hello, I just wanted to provide a suggestion. You mentioned renter readiness programs. I think it would be great to partner with our local schools. It's just an idea, like maybe visit the campuses, like and talk to the seniors about this information and about independent living and responsible renting and stuff like that. That's it.
I think that's a great idea. Thank you so much for that. You know, we had reached out to our colleges, but I think that starting in high school is a great idea. So thank you so much for that. I think I saw someone else take themselves off mute.
Yep,
Ah,
that
hi.
was me. Hey,
Hi.
Denise over at Catholic Charities. Let's see. We are moving along with a lot of new activities at the shelter. I'm not sure if Melanie's on. I don't think I see her. A lot of activities as far as tactile activities and groups like grief sharing, different things coming in and out. Very excited about that because
Denise, I think you muted yourself. Oh, come on. You there? I'm going to ask to unmute. Okay, we're going to come back to Denise. Maybe she just needs a second. Is there anyone else who would like to make an announcement? Oh, there's Denise.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I had to go for a second. Okay, so everything's going well at the shelter. I was looking to see if Melanie was on. We have a lot of new programs and services we're offering over there. Case management is now moved to the Segur Center, which everybody comes in through our front door at 401 St. John Street to be assessed thoroughly as as a whole person. Everybody can get a case manager. Financial assistance, they'll see somebody and not just go over their financial assistance packet, but anything else that comes up. So a lot of intensive case management. We are hiring. Still want to have maybe a mental health piece that goes with their background as we move into, really uncovering a lot more than just what meets the eye. We still have Dr. Elliot Myers and team coming in once a week. That's going to be going, continuing and adding more, NP services and social work services. So things are going really well for our clients everywhere. As far as getting the help they need with somebody that's really going to be able to spend a lot more time with them because of the, just the intensive case management that we're able to provide now with more case managers and training. So that's all good. Other than that, like I said, programs over at the we've got grief sharing. I think Hospice of Acadiana is coming in. We've got some people coming in doing crafts with them, just kind of trying to get it a little more lighthearted in their home setting. And then, everything else comes to us at the case managers at the Segur Center. So if y'all need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out for your clients.
Fabulous. Denise, if someone's interested in offering some of that sort of enrichment, do they reach out to you?
Okay, they would reach out to, let's go with Sarah Baque. So it would be Sarah at CatholicCharitiesAcadiana.org. She is, in charge of all the volunteer efforts and certainly welcome anybody who wants to do. There is a little process of, going through a little background check and things like that, but it's and to make sure there's the right fit. But certainly, I mean, we're welcoming a lot of different just different activities for the clients to get involved in. Also partnering with Goodwill, their workforce to do resumes and computer skills and all kinds of things. So it's really a lot more is going on as far as those kind of things. And like I said, the case management in another area has really been helpful.
That sounds great. And I dropped Sarah's email in the chat.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. Let's see, you know what? It would be Sarah B.
It'd be
Do a
Sarah
B.
B. I was just thinking that.
Yeah. Okay.
There
There
you
you go. Thank you.
go. Thanks, Denise. Anyone else have any updates?
Say, Melissa, I'm sorry, I was kind of right, but one of the things that we've been working on public health is Spike D, which is spike overdose. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, but there's a work that has been started. Dr. Spade's setting it up, and I've been having several meetings with partners. We are developing the plan. It's addressing who monitors if there's a sudden increase, a sudden spike in the number of overdoses that we're seeing, or the number of overdoses leading to fatalities. Who monitors this information? Who notifies someone? And who do they notify? And who's addressing the issue? So all of that is being worked out and put in the plan. Whenever the plan is pretty much finished, then supposed to schedule an exercise, and it'll be like a tabletop exercise, and it will probably learn more gaps and things from that. But that's forthcoming. The second thing, we have to do an exercise every year, and this year we will be doing, it's called MCE, which is medical countermeasures exercise. And in case no one is familiar with that, it's just basically we have to set up a pod, which is a point of dispensing, and we're going to distribute, we practice distributing medicines. Our scenario this year is gonna be a terrorist anthrax. Um, It's been a big festival. It's like 4,000 people attended the festival, and terrorists have disseminated anthrax upon the festival. So we'll be practicing general public coming through, we say general public, but the 4,000 people that attended the festival, it's gonna be to notify them and try to get those people in, to get the meds in them. That'll be done October the 31st, and we're gonna start about 10 o'clock in the morning. Exercising that. That's it for us. Y'all have any questions?
I don't think so, but thank you so much for sharing that. I think that that's something that we don't always hear a lot about, and I think it's helpful for us to know what everyone's doing. So thank you so much, Sheila.
Well, if any of you would like to attend and be a community member, then just reach out to me and let me know so I can fill you in on what you need to do.
Can you drop your email in the chat or phone number, whatever works best?
Sure, I
Thank
will.
you. Thank you. All right, Stephanie, I see you're off mute.
Hi, Elsa. Just since the VA is going to be presenting here, I just wanted to put out an event we've got coming up. Starting in January, we'll be partnering with some restaurants in the area to do a monthly veterans open to all veterans in the Acadiana region. Just a monthly breakfast, and if it goes well, we'll do it twice a month, just to kind of gauge the well-being of our veterans in the area, find out needs, and have a good camaraderie event, really. But we want to, if we can get them all in one place on a regular basis, we can kind of see the needs of our veterans, and just working with our local restaurants. It'll be in a common place we've not yet determined yet. I'm working with LCG to maybe have it in one of their rec centers that's big enough and a good easily accessible location. But I'll get you that information when it'll start in January. We're putting it all together right now.
That's great. And I'm sure the fellowship also is, important for, similar lived experiences, for them to come in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A
Thank
few,
you.
a few of our Vietnam veterans were the ones suggesting it. And I was like, this is a good way to gauge the well-being of our veterans in the area.
How could someone, there's a question in the chat, how could someone who is a veteran, stay informed, as this comes up? I mean, of course, I'll push it out. Whatever you give me, I'll push out. But is there like a website, or can they get on a listserv or something?
I appreciate that. I'll put my email address for the post outreach in the chat. And if they want to be on the mailing list, we'll start a monthly mailing list to say, hey, remember to come have breakfast with us.
Perfect.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other announcements? Okay. Well, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Tanya Thompson and Dana Bordelon with the Alexandria VA Healthcare System, under whose umbrella Acadiana falls for veteran homelessness services. I work with these ladies regularly, and I'm so grateful that they're able to come and share information about their programs. So I believe, Tanya, I'm going to stop sharing, and then you are able to share your screen if necessary.
Okay, hold on. Just bear with me for a minute, okay? Me and Dana. Well, first of all, before I do, let me do this. Just because. I don't know. Can y'all see us?
Yes.
I just want to make sure. So I just wanted to enter.
But your background is blurred. So there she
Yeah,
is.
can y'all see Dana?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put a face before I did this, because I'm going to be sharing the screen. But to everybody that doesn't know, my name is Tanya Thompson, and I currently work here at the Alexandria VA, and I work in our homeless department. And I've actually been in this department for about, well, 19 years. And I've kind of done a bunch of different things, which I'll explain when I start showing the PowerPoint. And when I do this PowerPoint, I'm going to go ahead and start talking first about it. We do offer some housing programs, and we have 4, but 2 of them really pertain to Dana, which I'm going to let her introduce herself. So when I finish, I'm going to let Dana take over and actually talk about her programs, because they are, she does have one in Lafayette and one here in the local area. They just so that y'all can put a face to the person. But this is Miss Dana, and so she's our GPD case manager. So
I'm Dana Boardlawn. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've been here at the VA for 23 years. I've been working in the GPD or Grant and Per Diem program for about 14 of those years. And so I'll be telling y'all a little bit about the program. Some probably already are familiar with it, but then we also have a program here in Alexandria that I'll give some education about. And thank y'all for letting us present today.
okay. All right, now I'm going to start sharing. Hold on just a minute. Can y'all see anything?
Not yet.
Um,
Can you share this? And hit share?
there we go.
How about now?
Can y'all see it now?
It's coming, I think. There we go. Yep.
Okay, so y'all can see it. Okay. So again, like I said, this is our PowerPoint, and what I'm going to do is, in this program, there's about 20 of us, so we all do different things, and actually I have that listed. But this is a little bit about the program, but the homeless program here at the VA has actually been in operation since 2000. Our primary objective in this program is to serve people and provide outreach services, to people that are homeless and those that are at risk of being homeless. And we do have a 23 parish catchment area, which I will show you a map of that next. So when we do connect with them and all of that and assess them, if they're not already assigned to like a provider for, health care or mental health, we assist with that. And then also for housing and other community resources. Even if someone is not eligible for VA healthcare, we still do our best to assist them with different types of resources as well, which we kind of do have a list of that. And, in an effort to kind of assist them. And we have contact information of, different VAs if they are trying to relocate or they're needing information like in a different state. In this program, in our program, there's many different areas that they can participate in. Our coordinator for this program, who is our supervisor over all 20 of us, is Miss Desmona Johnson. So she is the supervisor for the for the homeless program here. So this is our catchment area. And the way that this works, as you see, everything in green is what the Alexandria Central, VA covers. So we basically go all the way up to Natchitoches, down to the Calcasieu region, up to, the Lafayette region. Everything outside of that, either the New Orleans VA is going to cover or the Shreveport VA. And I just want to share that every VA in the United States is going to have a homeless program. Now, granted, they may not offer all of the same services, or they may even offer more, whether it's a grant per diem, because it depends on the area and, the clientele and the need. So, but a lot of times, when we get referrals and stuff, we do, and I'll show y'all that at the end, but we do have a national homeless hotline number. So someone can call that number 24 hours a day if they're homeless or they're at risk and they're needing some services. And what that does is that call will be forwarded, wherever they are or what they're requesting, to that VA hospital. And so we do have staff that responds to these calls, to assist them. A lot of times it can be just basic stuff. It can be more intense. Sometimes they're needing to be connected to New Orleans, and so we do all of that. So this is our catchment area. The first thing in our area is we have an outreach department. Now, I am coordinated entry. I've been doing coordinated entry since 2018. And, of course, if I know a lot of people know, but for those that don't, coordinated entry really is a process. It's to ensure, that those that are at risk or at homeless, that we try to identify them as soon as possible, assess them, prioritize them, and then, and get them into housing and moved, referral, and then get them into housing as soon as possible. However, I also do assist with outreach. So currently, though, we do have 3 outreach social workers. And so outreach is going to be the first contact. So if someone is in need of services, they're going to go through our outreach department first. That's just the way it's set up. So we have someone here that does do walk-ins Monday through Friday, every day of the week, and all of us are assigned. We also deal with the hotline calls. So we have assigned, we are all assigned to that as well. So I just want to put that out there that if you do come across someone that is in need and they're in need of services, they can always call this VA, or they can call our, national VA hotline, and they're going to be connected. So as you see in the PowerPoint, we are the first place where, this all starts. So with our outreach team, those that are homeless or those that are at risk, we will meet with them here. We'll meet with them at an outpatient VA clinic, whether it's at the Lafayette VA clinic, Lake Charles, anywhere within our catchment area. A lot of time our homeless veterans do not have transportation. So we will go to them. If a veteran needs assistance out of our catchment area, we will, refer them. We do have the contact information for that, of their choice. A lot of times too, our outreach social workers may work, provide a little bit more case management with certain ones. And, therefore they'll, develop like a treatment plan or an individual service plan, and kind of work with their goals. See what their goals are and what they want to accomplish. But currently we have Paul Shep, who does do outreach, but let me stop there for a minute. So again, we have 3 housing programs, which I'm going to get into, but he also manages one of our housing programs in addition to these outreach component. So he does both. And then we have Jill Baker and Lauren Apshire. Now, Lauren Apshire is an outreach social worker, but she is stationed at the Lake Charles VA clinic. So she does a lot of down south, assessments and, and deal with a lot of individuals, that are at risk or at home and that are homeless. So the first housing program that I'd like to talk with y'all about is that the VA homeless program, we do have an emergency contract program. And as I've mentioned, Mr. Paul Shep, who also does outreach, this is his baby. So he is the case manager for this program. He oversees it. Basically, this program is currently here in Alexandria. It's at the Salvation Army. It is, there are 11 beds there. They're strictly for males. Individuals can stay there at no cost. They are fed meals. The goal really is for them to be in this program for 90 days with the intent of getting into more, permanent housing with the assistance through the staff and through Mr. Paul. They definitely can't exceed 6 months. But if, everyone is different, it's on an individual basis if they're going to be extended past 90. But ideally, they don't really want that. So the goal really is to come in, put money in savings, and then use that money to get into more permanent housing. We did have a monthly net income, and it was around 2,000, meaning that if individuals' monthly income was that or exceeded that, they were not eligible for this program. However, currently, the income has been waived. So right now, the income component is not being looked at. The other thing with this particular program is that if someone comes into this program and they have substance abuse issues and it's been deemed that they may need to participate in treatment, that is a criteria. And so therefore they must follow that recommendation. If not, then they're probably not going to be admitted to the program. Because that is a big thing with that. And, of course, to, participate in groups and in everything else that may be outlined for them. The thing with the emergency contract program too is that it, it is in a brand new building. So, they did recently just move because Salvation Army was in an older building, but like I said, they moved into a brand new building. So it is very nice. So I haven't actually, I've been by there, but I haven't gone upstairs. But currently our beds are full. So if anyone is interested or needs any more information on that, that would want to inquire, Mr. Paul Shep is our contact person for that. And that is his email at the bottom and his phone number. So the second housing program that we have is our HUD-VASH program. I am going to say that this is our most requested housing program that everyone wants to participate in. But for those that don't know, HUD-VASH is really, it's the housing authority working with the VA. So it's a joint partnership between both of those. And basically what it is that the VA, we're issued vouchers through the housing department. And so it runs just like Section 8 housing, but, basically the individual pays a portion of that voucher and then the, housing authority is going to pay the other portion. Everyone's portions are going to be different because it is based on the amount of income that that person receives. So with us, we do, and I know I'm not reading word by word, but we have vouchers in all 23 parishes. And the way that it works in this department is that we do have a HUD-VASH supervisor. And then she has 7 case managers underneath her. And the reason being is because we have 23 parishes. And so when the person is assessed and the voucher is available, and they are going to be assigned to one of our case managers. So when they are assigned, then that case manager becomes, they're going to follow them. They're going to be doing, weekly visits, assist them in housing and etc. So as you see, we have 7 case managers, and then one of those 7 is an RN. She's a nurse. We also do have a housing specialist, in addition to all of our HUD-VASH case managers. So her primary role is to work with, landlords and find affordable housing for our veterans once they get their vouchers. In order, now let me back up to something too. With the emergency contract program in Alexandria at Salvation Army, you have to be eligible for VA healthcare. And I'm sorry, I failed to mention that. Well, with HUD-VASH, and then when Dana's going to talk about her program, they have a little bit of a different criteria when it comes to eligibility criteria. One of the things down at the bottom, as you see, is they cannot be a registered sex offender to participate in HUD-VASH, and they really need to have a high intensive case management need in order to do HUD-VASH. So that is some of the criteria. Now, this is where I'm going to go with that. It used to be a long time ago that HUD-VASH and the grant per diem housing program, you had to be eligible for VA healthcare. That has changed. That is no longer the case with HUD-VASH or the grant per diem program. And as you see on the slide, it kind of lists, the different types of discharges now that are accepted for those programs and which ones are not. So in order, to be eligible for HUD-VASH, you can see on the bottom, honorable, general, uncharacterized, OTH, and undesirable. Those that are ineligible is going to be a dishonorable and OTH from a general court martial and a bad conduct, discharge. As I mentioned, Donisha West is the HUD-VASH supervisor and oversees the HUD-VASH program along with being over her, case managers. So right now I'm going to turn this over to Dana because this is the grant per diem program. And I'm going to let her talk about the third housing program. So as I've mentioned, we have the emergency contract, we have the HUD-VASH, and then now we have the grant per diem program. So I'm going to let Dana take over.
Okay, the grant and per diem program, or GPD for short, is what we call it. It's transitional housing for homeless veterans. It is a grant that is, applied for and received, and then these services are provided to the veterans. And there's three main goals that they have in GPD. It's to increase skills and income, achieve the goal of greater self-determination, and achieve residential stability. Now, grant and per diem has been around a long time, like I want to say since like 2008, 2009, there in Lafayette. And traditionally, veterans could stay in transitional housing for up to 2 years. That's really very, very rare. The focus now is really getting them housed, as quickly as possible with supportive services. So it would be extremely rare to see anybody stay in transitional housing, that long. But the partner in Lafayette is Catholic Charities of Acadiana, and we have beds for male veterans and female. We have 12 male beds and 4 female beds, and the veterans are housed at the Emily House. And the services are free to the veteran. They are strongly encouraged to save a portion of their monthly income while they're in housing. There's no income cap, so it doesn't matter. Somebody could come in with 0 income, or somebody could come in, with full VA benefits. There's no, requirement or limit on that. We have 2 types of programs. We have one program which is called Bridge Housing. And Bridge Housing is a program that's available to veterans who have an identified housing plan. They're either going to be doing HUD-VASH, which is very often the case. Most of our veterans do end up participating in HUD-VASH, or they're doing SSVF, or they're doing Section 8 or permanent supportive housing. They have some kind of identified plan, and they're only expected to need the transitional housing for up to 90 days to complete the steps to housing. So Bridge Housing is ideally for someone who we feel can get housed within that 90-day time frame. The second program that we have is called Low Demand, and Low Demand is really targeting veterans with more chronic problems and issues, either chronic homelessness, chronic substance use, or chronic mental health problems, where any or all 3 of these have contributed to them not being successful in traditional housing programs. And so the focus there tends to be on maintaining their safety, making treatment available to them, while still working for, towards that goal of housing. If someone's going to be in grant per diem, they really need to be able to provide for their own ADLs, and they need to be able to live independently in order to be, a good candidate for the GPD program. Now, in addition to the program down in Lafayette, I also have a program here in Alexandria. It's a transition in place program, or we call it TIP for short. It's simply a different model of GPD. And the agency that we work with in Alexandria is the Unforgotten Veterans of Cenla. And with the transition in place program, the Unforgotten Veterans gets an apartment, furnishes it with furniture and basic household items, and veterans that are accepted into that program actually are housed in the apartments. Both programs are intended to be clean, sober living environments, so no drugs or alcohol are allowed on the premises. And where the focus in Lafayette is for us to find housing for the veteran, with TIP, the housing's already there. That's going to be their housing. While they're in the program, they don't pay any rent or utilities, and they have to save every month while they're in the program. But when the lease comes up for renewal, they take over the lease. So they're already in their housing. So that component of having to look for housing or finding housing isn't there. The security deposit transfers over, all of the furniture and household items becomes theirs, and then that becomes their apartment. And so TIP kind of steps out of it, and that becomes their permanent housing. But a lot of it, they're both transitional housing. It's just the way that they're set up and the way that, it's kind of, run and the services are a little bit different. Typically veterans stay in TIP from either 6 to 9 months, possibly up to 12 months, depending on the lease and the property management. So that's another good program. We can accept up to 20 veterans in that program. Oh, thank you, Tanya. Now, she was talking about discharges a little bit, military discharges, and that does get a little bit confusing. But veterans do not have to be eligible for VA health care in order to be in the GPD program. That has always been the case with us. We've always been able to take OTH. The ones we cannot take are dishonorable discharges. If a veteran has a dishonorable discharge from the military, which is not the same as OTH, and then there's a lot of different levels and it does get confusing. Then we cannot take a dishonorable in any case. And then if they have an OTH from a general court martial, they're not eligible for GPD. And then if they have a bad conduct from a general court martial, they're not eligible for GPD. But we usually, because it's very confusing, we always want to look at the veterans DD 214 and, explore exactly the nature of their discharge. Okay, so I think that's it with me. I think I've covered everything that's on the slides. If we do have beds available currently in Lafayette, so please send any referrals, and if we can establish their eligibility, we'll work on getting them in. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Dana.
Okay, y'all, I'm back. So y'all have heard a little bit about Dana's program. So what I'm going to do now is just tell you about a little bit of the other services that we have in this program. So another service that we provide is we do have our own employment specialist. And actually we have two. And their primary goal is to, they work with us, whether they're in some of our housing programs already, whether it's GPD, HUD-VASH, or the contract program. If they're interested in finding employment, our employment specialists really work with people in the community, and advocate on their behalf. They also have a lot of job listings for them. So, they just work with them in getting employment. They also do help with the transportation. They will assist them with their like a resume. They'll do some mock interviews with them. If they need a tire and they just don't have it, they will, help them do that. So we do have that service. And they do help our ones in Lafayette and here locally, within all 23 of our parishes. So we do have our own employment specialist. And actually, I'm sorry, but their names are Rodney McNeil and Herman Umwar. So we do reach out to them quite a bit, especially with those that don't have any income and they are wanting to work. The next service that we have is we also have our own peer support. Mr. Everett Thornton is our peer support specialist. Basically, his role is he's more of an additional support system to our homeless veterans. He works with them pretty closely, with like regaining control over their lives and their recovery process. So, he helps them like to increase their self-esteem. He really just, is like a mentor, and talks with them. He also does a lot of different things with them, like groups. They do a lot of, fishing trips, a lot of wellness groups, and a lot of recreational type activities too in our community. So we do have a peer support specialist that works with our homeless veterans. The next thing that we offer too is we have our Veterans Justice Outreach social workers. And basically their primary role is that they work with the court system and with the DA, the judges, and etc. And really those that are homeless, that are having some legal issues, our VJO specialists pretty much work with them with getting them into some type of treatment as opposed to them going to jail, whether it's substance abuse or mental health. So we currently have one here for the Cenla region, which is Miss Joey Stanley. Then we have Mackenzie Goche, who is more of the Lafayette region. And then we have Nicole Lejeune, who covers more of the Calcasieu region. So they are our VJO specialists. So they do go and visit them in jails and assess them. And like I say, they work very closely with the court system, to try and get them into treatment where they don't have to be in jail. The next service that we offer too is our healthcare reentry program. We have a specialist for that, and her name is Sabrina Boardlawn. Basically, she deals with incarcerated veterans. So she goes to all of the major prisons and for the state of Louisiana. And basically 6 months prior to their release, she starts assisting them with, applying for benefits, whether it's VA benefits again, because a lot of times they lose a lot of their, benefits while they're incarcerated. So she will try to start working with them on that or even housing. So we do have her who does a lot of that. We also have our own occupational therapist. Her name is Miss Sonia Randall. So she works very closely with our housing programs with our homeless veterans that may be, in need of different types of devices, whether it's, canes, wheelchairs, etc. So we do have that support where she can assess them and request those items if needed. And again, her name is Miss Sonia Randall. So those are all of the, the different services that we offer in our program, along with the 3 housing program. I just wanted to put this on here, but we do have a couple of things. Again, this is the 24/7 Veterans Homeless Hotline number. So if you encounter anybody, they can always call this number and they're going to be connected to the appropriate person. Then we also just have the main hospital here in Alexandria. That can be contacted if someone needs some resources, or they can present as a walk-in. So that's all that I have. I know that y'all usually end at 1, so I was trying to be a little bit fast, but does anybody have any questions or anything?
You can just go ahead and take yourself off mute or drop them in the chat.
Okay, well, if not, thank y'all very much for allowing me and Dana to speak, about this program. And again, if y'all need anything, or even if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Tanya, I can't tell you, it's such a pleasure to work with you all. And sometimes when I don't think a whole lot is going right, I look forward to our every other Friday meetings and and see that a lot is going right. So really, really appreciate you all. And if anybody needs Tanya's contact info or any of the other, I have a question. Can you send me this slide deck?
I
So
can.
great. And then we have that available too if anybody needs it or needs any of that information. But thank you so much and really,
You're
really
very
appreciate
welcome.
it. So thank you so much for joining us today. Please feel free to reach out to me at elsa@archacadiana.org with any questions or concerns. I look forward to seeing you at a variety of events that are coming up before the end of the year. A reminder about the Arch YouTube page. There's a link on our website in the top right-hand corner, or you can just do @Archacadiana. Have a really great day. I'm wishing you a really great weekend. And please reach out if you have any ideas for us to be doing things better or differently. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.